Jamal! 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 Boy, I know you been done heard me calling you.
What? Can you knock?
When you pay my mortgage, I'll knock.
I wanna be good
First,
enough.
you gotta work on the pretty wife and the grandbaby.
Right, okay.
Gotta be good
Jamal.
enough for you.
I don't need you. You do need me.
Please tell me I'm good enough.
What does that have to do with anything?
I wanna be good for
Five
you
turnovers.
and you.
That's 2.5 more than LeBron's average. You've got a lot more work to do.
Do you know how many people just don't have that opportunity?
Jamal, no distractions.
I know that you were.
I'm not like gay, if that's what you're gonna say.
Go!
You know what? I just wish he loved you as much as you.
Honey, I just want a happy home.
You haven't met my father.
I don't want someone like him in my house. Am I making myself clear? Huh?
Yes.
I hope that you're good enough. I don't think you're good enough. They don't think you're good enough. Please tell me I'm good enough. I wanna be good for you and you. I hope that you're good enough.
So you in the group.
Yep.
What's the highest y'all went?
The highest we went, let's see.
I'm gonna ask you simple questions. Did you tour?
We did tour.
Okay, how long was your tour?
The tour was just a summer tour. We just did like a summer radio tour. That was our first single when I was in the group, which was called Why. And that was like a southeastern region tour. So we did, southern, eastern type of thing that summer.
Okay.
From that tour, we did tour again the next summer. However, one of the guys, you can go, what's your next question?
No, go. Oh, you don't want to get in that yet?
Well,
okay.
no, we'll get
We'll
that
get
to
in
that.
it. Okay, because it seemed like this going so well.
Yep, exactly.
So you toured. What did you guys ever do anything big like on television or have like a big radio?
Oh yeah, from what I remember, and I could be wrong. So if anybody that knows better, that remembers better, just write. There you go, write in the comments. Because I may have forgotten some things. Though my memory is pretty good, but some things in the situation was a little traumatic. Anyway, the things I remember most was like being on the Monique show.
Okay.
So we performed on the Monique show on BET. We also were on 106 and Park.
That's what I was waiting on.
Yeah, so 106 and Park.
Debut.
AJ and Free or
oh my God, Terrence and
Roxy. Okay.
Yeah, Terrence and Roxy. So we still good,
Yeah.
It was before Bow Wow, so you straight.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to diss Bow Wow.
But Bow Wow.
Hey,
we all know it wasn't him that took the show down. The show was just going down.
It was going down because we were getting older.
Right. Because they tried to say shit with Bow Wow.
Right, exactly, but it was made for us to like. So when it got to the other kids, we got tired of the countdown. Exactly, but I think the highest thing for me that I felt was definitely the 106 and Park thing because I grew up watching 106 and Park. I grew up watching and being like dazing off, thinking one day my video is going to be like the new joint of the day.
It was,
and it freaking was. It was.
With him lead singing,
and I'm lead singing. And I'm just like, and to me, it's still even surreal. And I know
when he called me, he was like, "Bro, I ain't gonna believe it,
man.
We gonna be on 106 and Park." I said, "You lied. You from Kankakee on the 106 and Park." Yeah. He like, "No, look, bro. I've been trying to tell you I'm in this group."
Man,
my cousin. He in the back.
Man,
that's your cousin.
Yeah, right.
That's how I was. You fine.
Why you ain't tell me?
For no reason, wrote you fine too.
Right.
No, go ahead. My bad.
But no, you're good. And I think even like the Monique show was great, but I'm trying to think what came first with the Monique show or the 106 Park. I forget. Okay. But to me, even though we did the Monique show and that was a live performance, the 106 and Park thing meant the most because that was standing a long time on BET. The Monique show had a few seasons.
Too. Everybody's watching 106.
Yeah, even when you ain't want to watch 106. 106 is on in the background.
You just heard it.
Yeah.
You like, man, I'm tired of hearing these same songs. Yeah. Put the song back there.
Right. So when I see myself on BET, I mean, at that point, I was just like, whoa. And it's just like every memory that I can think of, me being in all those audition lines, me like being in Hopkins, recording in the closet, you know, like trying to get the damn shit right. It all started to make sense. It was like, yes, it was worth it. And to be honest, just to have that moment, right, to me in my life, everything that led up to it, it really did. It was like, I'm good.
Top 10 most famous people you know. I told you, I'm not even saying it to be funny.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, that was
Listen to the story he telling like it's nonchalant too. Like, you know, I'm just a humble guy. I just wanted it, but I'm humble.
Yeah,
that's what we do, though. We just like,
I worked hard though. I worked hard. Yeah, I worked hard.
So y'all hit the peak. Life is good. Life's somewhat great. Yeah. So then all of a sudden it starts to come down.
Oh, yeah.
What happens?
Oh yeah. Okay. So now I'm gonna go back a little bit because I have to tell the story before we can get to One of Those Part, before we even get to the Monique show and to the magazine stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So I signed to the group like around 2008, the beginning somewhere. Okay. It was 5 of us in the group. By the time we did that summer tour, we did a little bit of that radio tour, and one of the guys in the group, prior to this, he had a heart transplant, like years before this particular point. So somewhere in the middle of that tour that summer, he was getting really sick, constantly in the hospital, kind of sort of not messing up our dates really, but it was kind of like, because we could still perform with 4 of us, even though he was one of the other singers, we can do his part. Right. But still, when people will see
so
5,
everybody sang? Are you able to tell me that?
I can tell you that, but hell no, them niggas won't sing.
I didn't.
Hell no.
Mike said we had some dances.
No, we older now. Like back then, I probably say they was singing a little bit.
Oh, we danced.
I mean, they probably sang a little bit. I'm giving they probably
did some harmonies.
They did some harmonies. They did an ooh.
Some harmonies.
They did an ooh. They did an ooh.
Look,
you know
what they call them, ad libs. Ad libs.
Yeah, they ain't do no damn ad libs.
He said that's too much
support. That was too much. No support. Anyway, yeah. So we're on that summer tour thing. He was getting sick, and we were like missing some days, but we were still doing a lot of dates. And I remember one of the first dates we did was somewhere in Ohio. Oh, was it Kentucky?
Sorry. That area.
It was in that area, right?
Yeah.
I remember being over there, and then he was getting even sicker. So at that point, it was like, okay, well, should we dismiss him from the group? But he was in the group before I was,
right?
You know, so for me, I'm like, I mean, no, if he's sick, we can just do 4 of us for a while, and until he gets better, you know. But the part of the issue with that was, well, when these promos go out for Final Draft, the name of the group was, I'm not sure if I mentioned that.
You did
Final
Draft. Shout out to Final Draft, regardless.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to them. It's like, for real, shout out to them. So at this point, it was like, okay, we should audition other people just in case, you know, because people see 5 guys on the flyer. We keep showing up with 4. You know what I mean? Like, shit looking a little sketchy.
What David? What David Ruffin?
You know what I mean? So eventually it gets to, this is like curving out into 2008. Okay. Right? When we went on tour, before that, I dropped out of college.
Oh, I never knew that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So this
dip.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Went to the league.
For real, he was like,
I signed my
everything y'all teaching me, I'm already doing.
I'm already doing, you know. So I signed my little management deal, but again, that deal still allowed me to be part of the group and all that shit. When I dropped out of school, obviously the school thought I was like stupid.
Okay.
Because
that's what they're supposed to say.
They're supposed to say that because at this point I had been in school since 2004. Yeah. This is 2008.
You about to graduate?
I'm about to freaking graduate. And yeah, I did extend a little bit because I dropped some classes in between. So I was on a 5-year plan. I was supposed to do 4, but I was on a 5.
Shout out to the 5 years. You still getting
exactly right.
Yeah.
But I was almost done with it, and I
dropped
out. And I remember my father wasn't happy about that.
Yeah.
My mom,
I'm sure.
I know your mom was mad.
They wasn't happy about that. But the reason why I dropped out was because the manager encouraged me to pretty much. She was like, "Hey, you're going to be making money. You don't need school. Like, what you need? Like, what you gonna do with that? Like, that's gonna be just a piece of paper because y'all about to." And at this point, they were talking about us doing some tour, like international tour.
Ooh. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember being excited and telling my family about that whole thing.
You never told me international.
Oh yeah, they was trying to get us on this international tour, all this shit. So I was like, okay, I guess I don't need school then, because they got
live, baby.
Live, baby.
Because mind you, they have this big, beautiful house, these big, beautiful cars. I'm like, shit, I got to get in one of them Hummers. You know what I mean? Like that's what they was driving. So I was like, all into the glitz and
your mind need to cut.
In my mind, it's about to happen. And this group is already on TV. I already seen them. Y'all see them, whatever.
And you starting to see money.
I'm starting to see they have money. They have money.
Them with that shit.
That's their money.
Them Spanky's drugs. The Spanky's booze. What's the worst thing
y'all baby talking about, hey, we just hit 50 million.
Yeah.
That's him with that shit.
Yeah. They have money. I was getting, so they did put us on because they also had a clothing store at the time.
Okay.
And we would manage the clothing store sometimes. So they had us on like a $200 a week, and maybe I probably couldn't, well, whatever, sue me. If I'm not sure, I can't remember the clauses of the
do not sue him. He didn't mean those words.
Allegedly.
There we go.
It was $200 a week, right?
Possibly, right?
Possibly, somewhere around there. And they was paying us a week, $200. At this point, I'm making $200 a week. We're on this tour, whatever.
Mm-hmm. And they paying for your lifestyle.
And they paying for your lifestyle. I'm not paying for.
Right.
I had so many show clothes. It was just like everything. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
So dropped out of school because I just seen all the glitz and shit. And then around going into like September-ish or something, September, October-ish, I remember getting a call back, like just a random call from my school. And we were actually in a radio like press meeting with the group, and my phone kept buzzing. I eventually went on a break. I took the call. It was my school, and it was like, "Hey, we realize, no, they were like, do you realize you are only like months away from getting your degree? I understand you be doing this tour thing, you doing a die." And I was like, yeah, I know, but I'm about to make it. Like, at this point, I'm like, my song was on the radio down there. You're like
106 and Park.
Right. But this is before the end, though.
Oh, okay.
But still, the radio shit was happening. So I'm like, man, they know who I am. So anyway, I kind of blew them off at first. And then, sort of also around that time, the money started getting funny.
Yeah.
Even my $200 a week was getting down to $125 a week. And I'm looking like, yeah.
But y'all got Hummers in this big house.
Yeah, y'all.
So the rest of the group got Hummers and everything. They got whips and.
Not everybody.
Tight whips every day.
a couple of them at the time did. Not everybody.
Okay.
But still enough to be like, yeah, like how we living?
I know I'm gonna have this soon.
Yeah, we living like this. So what's going on with my little 100?
Right.
My little 75.
Yeah.
So, but even still, I was still hungry. I was still working it out. And then this is when we were about to film for MTV My Super Sweet 16. This is late 2008.
Okay.
Going to that circuit somewhere around October-ish and shit.
Okay.
My school called again. And at this point, I'm like listening because I'm starting to sort of see stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sort of like
the writing's on the wall.
It started to become clear, and people are starting to ask, Mike, what's going on with
you? The lead singer? How you not leading with some money?
Yeah, like how
you David Ruffin?
Yeah. So and people asking, so y'all went all the way to New York and y'all did all those shows, and that's all you got was 2. So y'all did like 3 shows last week, but you got 2. What? Hold up. Shit ain't adding up. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, school call again. I'm like, I'll be up there. I went back when we got back to Atlanta after the tour or whatever, I went to the school, unknowns to them. I signed back up. And I came back and I remember I told them I enrolled back in school so I can finish my degree. Not that they were displeased with that, but I can sort of tell, like, oh, so you don't believe in me, or you don't believe in this, the group, the whole thing. And it was like,
no, they funny, nigga.
Okay.
Shit.
See, if I ever,
the fuck? Y'all ain't looking the same.
They count money like Smokey. Man. 20, 40, 60, 80.
They looking at me like they don't believe in us.
Right.
Shit, y'all give y'all money.
And then at this point, I'm still like 21, I think 20, probably 21, 22, some shit like that. So this is still my young mind. You know, I'm still thinking, I appreciate that, but I'm still able to see, like, I'm so close to this degree. I've already put in hundreds of thousands at this point.
At least I can do is finish it.
At least I can do is finish this shit.
Me, bro.
And we ain't making no damn money. Even though we're doing all these shows.
Y'all making some money,
but I ain't getting shit. You know, so that's kind of where I was like feeling. So eventually I got on unemployment. I ain't gonna go into details about that. We got on unemployment. Was making more money that way than the group. So that happened. In the midst of that, we also auditioned in another member of the group. So at this point, it was, again, 5 of us, sort of 6 sometimes, because the other guy was still in and out of sick. So now we're rolling into 2009. So I pushed everything around Christmas time. 2009. And it takes me a while to get these memories together. So give me a second. 2009, I remember we came back from Christmas, because we went on Christmas break. I went home to Illinois to see my family for Christmas. Came back. That was, as a matter of fact, that was the last time I seen my father. And anyway, I came back, and he was excited about the group stuff. Because he finally started to see, like,
I said, I got it.
He got it.
My boy on his way.
He on his way. Like, he's doing this. Like, this shit, this may be work. Because at this point, we were in those little teeny magazines. We were in, like, Right On Magazine and all that shit.
I got to take a break. I'll be right back. Y'all keep going. Keep going. Tell.
Okay. You sure?
I'm good, bro.
Okay. So anyway, like, we...
His ass just be doing random shit.
It's all good. So we're at this point where we're recording another album. And mind you, the whole time we was recording.
That's what I was going to ask you. Were y'all recording albums?
We were recording. Okay. Yeah. Now, them saying it was an official album and we're recording an album for a record label, that's questionable. Because at this point, the group was trying to... Well, not the group, but management was trying to get the group to get another record deal at another record company.
So I was making like mixtapes type shit, or just some.
And that's what mixtapes was.
Yeah.
So we were sort of making like those one-offs. You know what I mean? Like we had a single or whatever, but we were still sort of just making these one-off songs and shit. So we continued to record, and then eventually I'm going to push forward a whole lot here. We're now into May of 2009. Okay. May 2009, we're now getting ready to get back on another like radio promotional tour type thing.
Summer joints.
Exactly. So that's normally where we was doing our pop and stuff. So I remember we were out in LA and we did some shows out there, and we were on our way to the airport. And I remember we had just pulled up at the airport and we were about to get off the van. And my manager got a call. Yeah. And I remember she just like stopped and was just like, what? And I can tell from whatever her emotions was at that point, something just fucking happened. Like, I don't know what it was. Her family, somebody we know, I don't know what it was, but like something just went down, right? And that's when she got off the phone. She was like, PB died, which PB, we call him, his name was Playboy in the group. So shout out to him and his family.
Man, R.I.P.
Yeah. So he died and
had complications
with the heart. So that was like sad as freaking hell.
That's hard, bro.
Because like we were, it just was like, first of all, he was like, it was weird because we're young, right? So you're like, it's just death at that point when you're that young. It just doesn't really sit well.
Because we still living forever. We're invincible.
Yeah, exactly. We feel like, you just feel like you're going to live forever at that point. And so when he died, that was like a huge blow to the group, and to not just the group, but to the whole camp at that point. And I remember his mom asked us to sing at his funeral, and she wanted us to sing the song Sailing. I forget who originally did it, but I know Avant did a cover of it. Okay. And she said she wanted for us to sing that song because he had been listening to that song all day on Mother's Day. And I think Mother's Day was like the week prior before he passed, or the day before, or something like that. But anyway, we was getting things together to sing at his funeral, and I remember like being so stressed because they were pressuring the type of performance they wanted us to give at this funeral. not his family, but the management was.
Yeah. Really?
Oh yeah, that was like one of the moments where I really was looking at the situation like, you know, because they was like, you choir boy, because that's my name in the group. I'm not sure if I even mentioned that. I ain't heard that in a long time. Choir boy. Yo, you choir boy. You supposed to be like singing, like bringing down the house, like churchy, and you gotta church it up, giving people some soul, and like give it some soul. Give people should be crying by the time you finish singing, type of thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking like, bro, this is a funeral. Right. Like I'm actually sad that this.
Sad too.
I'm supposed to drop everything that just happened.
And just put on a sing for y'all, motherfuckers. Yeah, I'm sad too, goddamn.
Yeah, I was that whole thing. I'm looking like, what? Like that one really threw me. Yeah. But what I did was I just gave the performance how I wanted to give. I'm not gonna put on the show because I don't want nobody showing up at my
hooping and hollering,
doing all that.
Shit.
Listen, make it cute, boo, and just.
Mike, I'm coming in the road. If you go first, I'm showing out and singing anonymous songs through the sermon, just randomly too. You better not go for me.
No. Listen,
you better not go for me, Mike.
Man,
you either.
You
can act up at mine.
You know I'm acting a fool.
Not at his.
Big balls of tears too, acting a fool.
Man, look. You can act the fool. You can. As a matter of fact, I want everybody to act the fool.
You should probably call your mama just in case if you go for us. Ryan coming.
He acting the fool, and that's okay.
Y'all probably should just put him in a room or something. Right. Accept that. He need to hear what's happening though, so he can act the fool.
But so like through that whole performance, I was kind of like this is weird. Like it didn't feel weird. If that's when I started to really see like. This is a show.
Yeah,
like
some bullshit.
This is like
we don't matter. We just pawns.
We just pawns. Like we're I don't know what game we're playing or who we're playing it with exactly, but we don't quite matter in this situation as much as we thought. Mm-hmm. So at this point, so this is May 2009. I'm about to graduate finally June 2009. So PB passed away. A week or so later, my father passed away.
Man,
the last
hell of a man.
Man, the last conversation I had with him was about PB passing away.
Yeah.
So it was like, and of course, when somebody passed away, you remember the last things y'all talked about, and that was the last thing we talked about was him saying like, because I was still kind of sad, and I was probably complaining to him about how we just had to sing at this funeral, and I didn't want to do da. And I just remember him saying, like, Mike, that's part of life. People die. Like, death is part. And that stuck with me to this day. Like, him saying that. And I'm just like, I'm not sure if he said that because he knew something. Yeah, right. Or, like, did I need to hear that to feel better, to be prepared? Yeah. So, a couple weeks later, he dies, right? And at this point, we're in the studio still recording stuff. And I remember the day we were... recording, I got the news that he passed away, and I'm like, I didn't think I would emotionally feel that way when my father passed away because we had a rocky relationship throughout my whole life. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the end of his life, though, we were good. Yeah. You know, but it was just I just didn't think I would still feel that way. Mm-hmm. So, but when he passed away, my reaction was something that I didn't even know I would react that way. Right. And that's why I be telling people when people say, man, if that happened to me, I'll do this. Or I'll be that person that say this. And you have no idea how you would act in a moment of anything. Yeah.
So it's easy to guess certain things, right?
Yeah.
But your parents, you only get one of each. No, you can't predict what's I've already told everybody when it's time, y'all might as well just go and hold me down.
Right.
Because I'm going to lose it. I know I will. But as you say, you never know what you do. I might shut down and become an introvert.
Because I'm like, I was falling over. I couldn't even stand up. Like, they had to come grab me up. Like, when I got the news, I'm just like body just like had a reaction to that news, you know? So that happens. And I remember as I'm crying and like going through my little, moment of just finding this out, I remember the manager at some point, she had talked to me before, but she came back out to talk to me again because we were recording at this point. They were in the studio recording. Mm-hmm. And she was like, okay, well, I'll let you fly out the day before the funeral. Then you can just fly out the night of the funeral. And I was like, in my mind, as I'm crying even, I'm thinking, hold on, so you gonna let me fly out the day before the funeral and I'm gonna fly back the night of the funeral? And mind you, I'm crying and hugging her probably even at this point. And it just
don't add up.
It don't add up.
I need more than a day.
Yeah.
That's 24 hours you telling me.
And plus, I ain't making no money.
I ain't making no motherfucking money.
And I'm recording this work, and I'm doing all this stuff.
Yeah. Did y'all want me to come right back? I can't get no time to grieve or nothing.
Nothing. Like,
yeah, pawns, bro. Pawns.
And I was just like, that, when she said it, that really stuck with me for the rest of that time when I was in the group. So I'm thinking, like, you really don't care about us like that. No. Like, you really don't. No. Like, you may feel like you do, and I appreciate you for putting me in that position. But
this group is over me as a person, for sure.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Get over that shit, come back and sing, bro.
Man. So I was like, I'm not gonna let the record label buy my flights. I'm gonna buy the shit myself.
Yeah.
So I bought my own flights, and my flights were, so mind you, we at that point we already had books, like photo shoots, like a day or two after. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna muster it up to do this photo shoot, because honestly, that meant a lot to the rest of the group, because we got to get this promo shit, rolling. And plus, it's only 2 days. I'm gonna wait these 2 days out. I'm gonna do this photo shoot. I left in the middle of the photo shoot, like, to go catch my flight. There's like, I shot my shots. The group was still shooting shit. I was already gone.
I gotta go.
I gotta go. I can even show I can do it. Send you some of the photos. Y'all want to use them for y'all?
Anything.
Or whatever. At that point, like. So I got on a flight, went home, and I was gone for like 2 weeks to pretty much help bury my father, because at that point it was just me and my siblings doing this, and we were young, like trying to figure this shit out.
Your siblings were young.
Yeah, like it was mostly like me and Mickey.
Yeah. You know, shout out to Mickey,
right?
Shout out.
Making a lot of the decisions, but my brothers also helped too. My brothers Senio and Mike also helped,
but they were young.
But we were young.
Yeah, y'all were young, but they were young.
Yeah. And we were just
mentally, there's no way they could really have helped. Y'all barely could.
We could barely do it.
Yeah, so how you gonna expect somebody still in the high school stages?
Man, that and the thing was, and for those that don't know, my father passed away in a motorcycle crash. So that was instant. You know, it wasn't like he was sick and then we knew he was gonna pass away eventually or something, and we had time to prepare.
Right.
That was just the instant thing to where we were just like, what? Like, it's still them, and to this day, some of it's just like, what? Like, how the hell? Right. And when you're that young, and he was like still so young, you're just like, in my mind, they gonna live forever.
Yeah.
But when that happened, that questions your own mortality. You're like thinking like, damn, this shit really could be over at any point,
any time,
at any so
right now,
and right now, and
breathe wrong.
At that point, I was just like, all right, what am I doing? And this is when I was back in Kankakee dealing with the family and the funeral stuff. I'm like, what am I doing? Because if this group thing is gonna work, I should have already started to see something by now. Even though I was in a group at that point, only like a year, maybe 2 years at this point. What am I doing? And I was just thinking, yo, whatever decisions I make from now on is going to be on my terms, on how I felt about shit. And when I got back to Atlanta, I sort of became a little bit of a rebel, a little bit in the group. This is when I was starting to sort of see the light a little bit in that situation and be like, okay, so when we wasn't making money,
who was making the money?
Who was making the money? Where did the money go? Still don't really know exactly, but actually, because of resources and people that know, and people that they know, and people that they know that they don't know that told me right. what was really happening. That's how I know. Right. And I was just like, and I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble for people that they know that told me, but I was just like, whoa. I was like,
I had no idea it was like that.
I had no idea, because this whole time I was blinded by the Hummers, the BMWs, the big house, the episode on 106. No, I mean not 106 Park at that point, but the Sweet 16, all that shit. I'm like, whoa, wow, you know.
You heard that on MTV as well.
I'm listening. Okay.
Yeah, so this, get back to Atlanta, I'm about to graduate college. My family comes down because I'm about to graduate. So Mickey and my brothers and my mom have come down for my graduation. And this was another thing where I was just like, okay, maybe time to get out of here, or I need to start planning something. My family came to the house or whatever. We hanging out, we chilling
At that house.
We're chilling or whatever, having a good time, I guess, whatever time you can have. And they left. And then my manager called a meeting with everybody after my family left. So, and mind you, we sat in many meetings, like meetings for 3 hours.
Makes sense.
You know, right? Because we're a unit. We had to move together.
Yeah.
And we in a meeting, and in this meeting, she brings up, well, why come Choir Boy is not telling his family to call him Choir Boy? Why are they still calling him Mike? So that becomes the topic of the meeting, basically. And I'm looking like, what? What are you talking about? So
Mama call him Mike, Daddy call him Mike. I'm gonna call him Mike.
Right, like
M. Spears personally.
I was like M. Spears, right? But I'm like, my family, that's all they know me as is Mike. They don't know Choir Boy. That's like some y'all. I mean, not y'all made up. Y'all didn't make that. That's a stage name. That's a stage name. That's like what happens around here. I'm Mike to them, and will always be that to them. You know what I mean? Like,
why the fuck you in my business, bro?
Yeah,
this ain't got nothing to do with the group.
But and just that is like that was the control, the control factor that they had over all of us at this point. You know, our minds was like warped, and that's gonna come into play in the next story I'll tell you by the time we get to 2010. Sure. Anyway, so at that point, and at this, everybody's like supposedly mad at me because I'm not telling them to call me Choir Boy. And I'm just like, I'm not telling them that. No. How do I look going to my family? Don't call me Mike. Call me Choir Boy. I'm Choir Boy now.
My dad just died. This is the name he gave me. Y'all can't call me that.
That shit sound like some bullshit, though.
It was.
It was. And from there,
I needed a reason to
take back that shout out.
They needed
just this many.
That's all that shit was.
Yeah.
Take back that shout out.
So I was just like, okay. At that point, and once I seen like one of the other guys in the group like get loud with me too and yell at me about me not telling my family, I'm looking like, hold up.
I don't even know you, cuz.
I don't even know. Like,
know you.
And mind you, with all the shit that you said about these people and stuff you told me about these people, you had the nerve to say something?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of that. So they started to use the guys in the group to manipulate us against each other. So, because at some point, the group was so tight, like, because we could hang out and chill out and talk shit about everything.
Right.
But when we got in front of them, it became like we were different.
Oh,
so behind closed doors, when the management and stuff went around,
best friends.
We were, oh man, bruh, like, honestly, when they wasn't around, we ain't had no issues. We was all chill. We was all, we see each other in this shit.
Right.
But when they came around, everybody switched.
But that's
everybody for themselves.
Everybody for themselves.
Private conversations.
Exactly.
That's how that shit works.
And then that manipulation started because the manager would go to one of them and say, yeah, well, I'll just say what happened to me because that's what I can speak to. Like, she'll come to me and say, well, yeah, such and such, they said that you was saying this or that you was on the phone and they heard you say this or whatever. I'm looking like, well, why would what's the name say that shit? Number one, I didn't even say that. But why would they come to you telling you some shit that they heard me say?
Figure out some shit or see if you gonna say some shit.
Yeah, and I'm like, and so what that does is, at that point when you're young and you don't know the shit, the games, you just like, why would that motherfucker do that shit? Like, dude, we cool. Right. What the hell?
Right.
And so now that
then they like, don't say nothing though.
Right. And then that made me not trust them no more. The guys, that started making me start questioning the guys in the group, like, dude, oh no, you shady. Because why you go back and tell them that lie?
And we was just cool.
And we were just cool because when they gone, we all was cool. And they can make it seem like whatever, but that's the fucking truth. We was jelly. Yeah. But anyway, moved past the rest of 2009, and we're now in 2010. When I went home, I'll go back a little bit. When I went home for the 2009 break for Christmas, at that point, I had started to plot my way to get out of the group. I was like, it's either I'm going to stay in Illinois I'm just not gonna go back down to Atlanta. They're gonna have to like do something, find somebody else, or I'm gonna get down there. I'm just gonna be, I'm gonna have an attitude like everybody else was doing, because I was always humble and just always like yeah, sure, I'll get it done. I was always that person. But I'm like, I'm gonna start having an attitude like the rest of these dudes ain't doing shit in the group. You know what I mean? Just dance. Like I'm gonna start doing that shit. And see what happens. Right. You know what I mean? So I came back in 2010 with that mindset, right? Mm-hmm. But that's when shit really started to curve, because then we got the attention of Ralph Transvant.
Yeah, that's
from New Edition.
Yeah, New Edition. Yeah.
So Ralph Transvant from New Edition. Someone had seen us or something, someone that knew him told us about, hey, yo, this group in Atlanta, you need to check them out. Mm-hmm. He came over to the house one day and we performed for him and he loved us.
You was like, oh, I can't leave now.
Dang,
it's Ralph.
I was like, shit, bro.
It's Ralph.
I was so close. And the thing was, because I was strategically trying to get put out, because I was like, well, if they put me out, they're going to do away with my contract, right? Mm-hmm. But if I leave, they can then keep me in that contract forever and ever, or whatever that the terms are, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, shit. And every time, every year, every January, we had to re-up our contract. No matter how long the term said, they will make us re-up our contracts, which is very questionable. But at the time, again, I'm young and not really understanding. Yeah. So anyway, I re-signed my contract. And at this point, we are now with a label. So everything is going through this other label. And also, at this point, we're going through Universal Music Group.
Are you signed to Universal Music Group at this point?
The group, so this is how this works. Universal is the major label. Mm-hmm. The group and I were signed to Earl Jam. Mm-hmm. Earl Jam is signed to Universal.
Right.
So
like
Earl Jam,
or something like that.
Exactly. So Earl Jam could bring in. So by right, we can say I was signed to major label because it's true.
Well, no. I'm not asking you. Okay, so earlier when y'all were signed to Block Entertainment, the group was signed to Block Entertainment, but you were signed through contract just through the management.
Yeah.
When you signed this time, were you signed with with the group?
I was signed with the group to management to Earl Jam.
So never as an artist. Your only connection was through management.
Right.
They managed you basically.
Right.
Because your manager was through them.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
But everybody else in the group was signed to them.
No, they were signing. So at this point, they were signed exactly the way I was signed.
Okay.
So what happened before I got in the group, how they were signed to Block, I'm not exactly, they could have definitely all signed directly to Block. Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly sure about that. But I know when I got to the group, we were all, at least from my knowledge, we were all signed the exact same way.
Got it. Okay.
And again, we had to re-up those contracts every year. Even though the contract, I think the length of the terms, I believe, was around 2 or 3 years, or even 5 maybe. But still, they made us redo it every year. Mm-hmm. But anyway, at this point, we have the attention of Ralph. Ralph, he's like, yo, this could be like huge. This is like 2010. So at this point, only group out was, I'm not sure if you guys remember back in that day, you had Day 26 that just got put together on MTV, making a band. Which I also auditioned for and didn't make it. Okay. But that was obviously prior.
Diddy's bogus. Go ahead.
Actually, it was not even Lorianne. Lorianne liked me.
Okay.
Yeah. Lorianne liked me. Mm. It was another guy. His name was Unk.
Unk wasn't fucking with you.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling it.
Unk wasn't feeling it.
He wasn't feeling it. He was not feeling my voice to me. He was not feeling it. But it's okay. Yeah. I'm grateful. Because I mean,
all right, you could have had him Spears.
You really could have. But Lorianne, she liked me. I was happy just because of that. Anyway, so Ralph was like, "Yo, I'm gonna take these guys. They still." He didn't really think we needed much more development because at this point we were under management and we've been rehearsing so much for all those years.
It was so routine. Right?
It was so routine. Like we were legit wake up in the morning 7:00. Work out for like 45 to an hour and a half, right? Mm-hmm. Right after that, you take a little break, go wash up, shower up or whatever, and get back down to the rehearsal hall. Rehearsal hall, we down there for legit about 8 hours a day. Mm. You know, and
the same
this
songs.
is a job. Same songs. Same fucking little show. Same shit, man. That shit was so. I hated them fucking songs. I hated them damn songs. Anyway, so that's, and mind you, we ain't making no money.
Yeah. So at this point, no one's making any money.
At this point, nobody's making money. But also at this point, I'm starting to see a decline in the possessions. So a decline in the cars are gone. The Hummer is repossessed or gone. I'm not gonna say it's gone. The BMW is gone. Dang. The other truck is gone. At this point, we have some other vehicle. I forget what type of vehicle it was in the car I came with. You know, so we're at this point, things are looking a little definitely
they
sketchy.
get in your car.
Oh yeah,
at this point.
At this point, and mind you, when I first came around though, we wasn't driving my car to these events. Like no, because I had a '99 Sebring.
Right.
I love that car though. But anyway, like. We were not. Oh no, we're not riding that. They need the Sebring. Exactly. We were riding the Hummer, the BMW, or whatever else they had. But anyway, so that's at this point, things are looking a little shabby. However, Ralph is coming around, and I'm like loving it because Ralph is like, yo, he want to take over and be the manager, or at this point, it was co-manager because management was like, no.
Yeah, ain't taking out people type shit.
Exactly. She like, no, I didn't put too much into this group. And by right, she did. You know, however, at that point.
She took out a lot from that group too. That's my word, not his.
But at that point, the thing was, and I don't care if they could totally admit this, but the thing is, as a group, when we were just, ain't nobody else around, we all, including the son, because her son was in the group too. We all were like, yo, I hope Ralph just take us and do what he can do with us. Yeah. And the thing was, we all were totally still appreciative of the manager. We were just like, we just feel...
We hope Ralph put his hands on this.
Yeah,
she could collect money. Let Ralph put his hands on this.
Yeah, because we're older.
Right.
We're so under their thumb, and then like it was like we couldn't just go to Walmart if we wanted to. I had to say, hey, can I go to Walmart? I'm 22, 23 years old at this point. I'm asking, can I go somewhere in my car?
Right.
In my car. I gotta go and ask, can I go to the Walmart real quick just to get, and that's how
to get out the house.
To get out the house. Yeah, just to clear my mind a little bit. I'm just like, and of course these are all ringing bells. All this shit is making sense now. It's like this shit is kind of like a cult almost. Like this is getting some scary. This is scary shit. So anyway, Ralph was coming around. We were recording. This is when we really started working on the album. Ralph came around. He did some songs with us. We were like excited. We started getting songs from other producers. We were going out to LA to record more songs for this album. We're like, yo, this is gonna be great. This album's gonna be hot. And then that's when we did 106 & Park.
Got it. So Ralph was okay.
So not that Ralph had a hand in putting us on 106 & Park,
but Ralph was getting it moving.
Yeah. But right. So we had that momentum now. Like, oh shit, we're on 106 & Park. Then a little bit after that, we got offered to come and perform on the Monique show. So we were like, oh shit, this shit has happened. And at this point, I'm starting like, damn, I'm so glad I didn't leave the group. Yeah. At that point, because I would have missed this, you know? So we still recording with Ralph. And then eventually, I remember we were in New York on the radio press tour. And we were doing an interview. Ralph was supposed to come with us to New York. Ralph didn't come. And that was kind of weird because Ralph at this point had been on us. Like he'd been, even when we were in the studio, he could be in the studio. This is back when Skype had just started to come out, right?
Right.
He would Skype into the studio and be legit on his computer the whole time we're recording a song, just hearing us sing in the studio. He was really, and that's one thing I was like, I love that moment. I love that I even have that moment in my life. That Ralph was so hands-on. Now, it was one song he had me singing. I fucking hated that damn song. It's probably a nice song, but the thing was, I hated it because I legit felt like I was in that booth for 3 hours recording a fucking verse. I was so...
He made you do it over and over and over.
Bro, I was so mad at him. Like, I'm like, man, fuck Ralph.
I believe see them. The people ain't coming to see you, they coming to see me.
Right. I'm telling Ralph, I ain't no damn Johnny Gill. Okay? Right. You gonna get these Mike Spears vocals? That's what you gonna get. He made me record that thing so many goddamn times.
So when you hit it like Johnny up?
Not even. Because I can look, and I remember the song, and whenever I listen to the song, it's been years, but I'm still thinking like, what? I still didn't get it.
Right.
I still didn't get it.
We gonna keep that last.
We gonna keep it.
Worry about it.
But anyways, but to be really honest, like it was so cool working with Ralph, because I mean there were other songs obviously that I knocked out the park and was good. But it was just that one particular song I remember. But that's just a cool experience to have had to work with a legend like that, like Ralph Transvet. And okay, so he didn't come to the New York shit. He did call into the radio station while we were there. He did do that part. Then we got back to Atlanta, and we're still on the same press tour, and we're at V103 doing this is when we got interviewed with Ryan Cameron. Not sure if y'all are familiar with Ryan Cameron.
I'm not.
In Atlanta.
Okay.
But those who are familiar, shout out to Ryan Cameron. Yeah. So that's when we did the interview with him, and Ralph was there with us, but that was the last time we seen Ralph.
Damn.
All of a sudden, he just disappeared.
All of a sudden, it was just like, take that back one more time. But we didn't see him. He called into the interview. But even when he called in to the interview,
it was different.
It was different. Because he wasn't saying, "Oh, these my boys." Like, he wasn't saying that shit. He was like, "Yeah, this is Final Draft. They're a nice group of guys." And that was about all he had to say for the interview, almost. So we're like, yeah, that was kind of weird. He said that shit like that. I did kind of pick up on that shit. Like, what's going on, you know? So later on, I remember management telling us, well, one of the reasons why it could be, well, she blamed it on us. She said that, because he's seen that y'all not as talented as, y'all as he first thought or whatever. That's what she said to us. And we're looking like, that don't make no sense though. Like,
we probably got better since he showed up.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real. And I'm looking like, that's kind of strange, because that's strange.
He said,
that's strange that Ralph would just leave us like that. But then later on, after I left the group, I was talking to someone that also knew a lot about that situation, that was also a part of that situation. And they was telling me sort of what was happening at that time that we wasn't privy to.
Money struggle.
It was a money struggle. Ralph wanted to co-manage the group. And obviously that comes with some money.
Split the...
And that also comes with some power.
Yeah.
Because
and
now
putting all his energy in for nothing, pretty much.
And by right, he a fucking Ralph Transvet. We need him way more than we need him more than he need us. And no offense, like,
we need him more technically than you at this point.
Yeah.
Because you've gotten us to where you can to get what we want to get. You got to fall back a little bit. You're going to get paid.
You're going to get paid.
You're going to get paid. And Ralph was like, okay, I'm going to put these guys on this tour because my group is getting back together. So I'm going to have them open up for us or whatever. We're like, oh, hell yeah. Like, but at this point, he was with Bobby, Johnny, and Bobby and Johnny. I think they were... they were called Heads of State or something like that. Them three together. They were doing some tour together or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, and I'm just like... Yeah, this is really strange that he would just leave us like that, but he eventually found out that it was a power thing, and the reason why Ralph ducked out was because he seen how much control and power that the management had over us, and realized that it's nothing he really could do for us because we're gonna always do what they tell us to do. So, and by right, I totally understand that now looking back.
Moonwalked on y'all ass.
Yeah, he sure the hell did.
Yeah.
And then this take us all the way into now we're getting to like the summertime, and this is when shit is really bad in the group. This is where that trust that we once had, like that brotherhood that we had,
it's falling apart now.
Yeah, this is where even when we're together by ourselves, the trust is gone. Like, we don't really trust each other like that because we already been manipulated thinking this person's saying shit behind my back, that person's saying shit, that's her son, and even though he says his shit about them a lot,
in front of them, none of that.
Yeah.
In front of them, it's totally none of that. So you just like, but though, yeah, it's so weird. It's the dynamics in that situation was so fucking weird. And at this point, I can just kind of sense the end because we were at this point. This is where things would get physical between us, the group.
Y'all started to fight.
We started to tussle a little bit. Like, this is when I wasn't tussling with nobody. I mean, they came at me a couple times, but I'm like, I'm a bit of an asshole when I get into it with people. Because I'm looking at you like, dude, you for real?
No, man, look.
You serious?
We finna do this. We finna do it.
Yeah, you serious?
Y'all don't think about it.
So I'm kind of an asshole about that. So I just egg them on a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I've been called faggot, all type of shit in that whole situation. It was
really.
Oh yeah. Oh, we can get to that part in a second. But yeah,
that's crazy.
It eventually got to that point, and I've also know about a lot more darker things that was happening in the situation. Yeah. That was where I personally felt like, and not even me, the group felt like, and they're not going to admit this to them, but we all knew some shit was happening, where we were a cover up for something else. Mm-hmm. And
that makes sense, because where's this money going?
Yeah. Where my money at, bro?
How we go on 2 tours? You talking about $200? You can't even hold up to allegedly. You can't even.
Yeah, and then there are some other things I'm not gonna mention on here, but there's definitely a lot of other.
You know I'm gonna ask them off the air, but keep going.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
There was some other things that happened where I know for sure there was money received.
Mm-hmm. So, when did you leave?
So I left around September-ish. I forget the exact date, but I remember she called us all down, and she was like, "I decided to disband the group." So I was like,
temptation and shit.
Yeah, so I'm like,
money to call the name.
She could just do that on.
Yeah, but prior to that calling down of that meeting, like maybe weeks before that, she was like, "Y'all need to get out and get a job because I'm not taking care of y'all." Da, da, da. So we all out there looking for jobs, but we found a draft though. And mind you, in Atlanta at this point, we're kind of popular. Like people sort of know us out there.
Right.
So
now you look for a job. What are you?
I was just on 106 in Park. I was just on the Monique show. What the hell am I doing? Bringing you pizza.
Like covering up for some bullshit.
And that makes so much sense.
Man, I'm not going to that. Okay, it was a lot. Yeah. A whole lot of shit going on to the point where I was just like, this is scary now. Like I'm now at a point where I am honestly fearing for my life at this point. Like I'm thinking like, yo, at any time something can happen in this situation, and that would be the end of me and end of the whole thing potentially, you know. So I felt like just that much pressure where I felt like, okay, I really gotta get out of here. So when she came down there with that news, I was like, good, I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. You know. And I remember 2 of us left at the same time. It was me and I'll just say
the stage name. Don't.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of his damn stage name.
The guy with the stage name who left. Shout out.
Stage name.
Don't even do it. Shout
out.
Don't worry.
That's
his name. Stage name.
Shout out to the other guy.
Sincere was his name in the group.
Sincere. Shout
out. Which was Nick Cannon's cousin.
Okay.
So not to do that. That's kind of a shady plug, or not shady. Cool. That was kind of a cheap
Sincere
plug.
No.
You know what?
Yeah.
No.
So anyway, so we left the group the same day. I remember I helped him pack his stuff in my car, and I took him to Lithonia and dropped him off at his uncle's house. Mm-hmm. I went back. No, I went to a friend's house at that point because I was so stressed out and everything. I went back to the house after it got dark, right? Because I'm thinking everybody's asleep. Mm-hmm. And mind you, this is a big ass house, right? And the driveway is fucking long as shit. So I'm driving up to this fucking driveway that all the lights are out and shit.
You're like, yes, I can just get in and out.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I can get in and out. I mean, I know this house like the back of my fucking hand. I can do this shit. Mm-hmm. I fucking tiptoe in the house, went through the garage and everything, all nice and quiet and shit. I get in there and I see like a computer light on. I'm like, the fuck in there? And mind you, it's like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And it was one of the guys in the group. He was actually bootlegging movies offline.
Oh God!
So that's
them days. He was in Perks pocket up out.
Yeah, man. He was on there watching some shit.
He's worldwide internet.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember we talked just a quick second, and I think he's like, "So you out?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm out." And I think that's like one of the last things we even said to each other. So I went up to my room and like started taking all my shit out, putting it in my car, and then my silly ass was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna," because I was so tired. I had been up that whole day, so like I'm just gonna lay here for like just an hour, get a little nap of poo, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna get in my car and go while it's still dark. I fucking laid down, fell asleep, woke up
this morning.
And downstairs I hear somebody call my name, choir boy.
Oh shit.
And
I woke up
all of
them. Yeah.
Bro, I was like, oh, and I'm like, I don't know what's about to happen. Yeah. Because there's already so much shit going on, and I'm just like,
you weren't even supposed to be there.
I just walked to the car like this. You said it's over.
Damn, y'all woke me up. Thank y'all.
I'm out.
I'm out of here.
And I'm like,
talk to y'all in the next room.
So I wake up And so I get up and I look downstairs, and the way my room was set up, it was like the kitchen was like this space, and imagine my room being like right up there, right up the stairs. So they're like standing right.
They can see you the moment you come down.
Soon I come down, I'm like, soon I hit that door, they can see my feet even get up. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I come down the stairs, and I remember the manager was like telling me that she only disbanded the group at that particular moment just to get the other guy out of the group. And she was telling me that I should stay. And I was like, well, honestly, I want to leave anyways. Yeah. You know, I remember telling her, like, I appreciate the opportunity, but I need to get out of here, you know. And I remember telling me, like, well, we have these other things coming up. We want to get y'all this, get y'all that, get y'all on this. But at this point, I'm thinking, like, all those promises that was made, what happened to this shit months ago?
Where is the money?
Where my money at?
Why am I broke?
And then trying to flip it the next day. Cause that's probably what they did mean. They probably did want to disband y'all. Just probably sat on it, thought about it, and was like, nah, let me try to.
I gotta get some more money out of this.
Yeah. Right, let me try to get it, you know. But at that point,
quiet, boy.
Right, and at that point, I was over it. I was like, I've had enough of this arguing and this. Because the thing is, they're family too. So a lot of times they're arguing and go back and forth. It was family shit they argued about.
They pulling you in it.
They pulling us in it. Like, I ain't got nothing to do with none of that family stuff. But I'm always somehow got to listen to it because y'all gonna make us listen to it. Yeah. You know. So anyway.
Whole meetings about y'all family.
Crazy.
Right.
I ain't even from here, man.
Dude.
What's your last name? Because I'm not that. I ain't never seen you at that reunion.
So after that talk, and I was seriously like almost like trembling, like scared, like because I wasn't sure what somebody was gonna try to pull something. Like I'm like at this point I don't trust.
Slap this contract down, and I
don't trust nobody.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, and I'll go back a little bit before I get to this last point, and we can move on from the group stuff. But there was a point where before she disbanded the group, like maybe weeks before she even asked us to go tell us to go get jobs, get out of her house and get jobs or whatever, she pulled us down to the studio and she go one by one and ask us, do we trust her? She asked, Lucky, do you trust me? And Lucky, yeah, I trust you. Like, she asked the next person, you trust me? Yeah, I trust you. I trust you. But in my mind, I was thinking like, you motherfucking niggas. This ain't what we talked about.
Right.
Y'all had a whole different game before she walked down those stairs.
Right.
Y'all was saying a whole bunch of other yap before she walked down those stairs. And mind you, I was normally the quiet one. Sure, I'll do it. Sure, I'll go ahead. I'll do it. Because I just wanted to make it. I wanted to be a part of it. But at this point, my father passed away. I started just realizing I can't live like this.
Not for less than
$200 a week, and I gotta get a job.
For $175, what's that? $125 a week. Man, it wasn't even $200 no more.
He said it was one down lower than that. Remember?
And mind you, at this point, the money that a week had completely stopped.
So there wasn't no money.
There wasn't no money a week at this point. Man, so we weren't making nothing. The only thing we was making, if we did like
room and board.
That's it.
Shit, if that, she told y'all to get some jobs.
We had to get some jobs. And the thing was, most of us, I'm going to say all of us, we were on unemployment. Yeah. So we were getting money from the government. So they wasn't really.
Once they knew that, they was like, oh no, we good.
Right. We good. Yeah. And yeah. So anyway, she went one by one. She get to me, and I'm still thinking like, I can't believe you weak. Y'all just.
I'm gonna tell her the truth.
And I was waiting on my turn. Like I'm just.
Mike said he was.
I'm just like this. I'm like this is gonna seem hella out of character for me.
Yeah, right.
But at this point, I started to channel my father and started to be like, he would tell me no. Tell her how you feel.
Yeah.
Tell her how you feel.
The land came out.
And I was just
I ain't
like,
gonna tell you how I feel, and y'all talk about it afterwards. But you know how you feel.
Exactly. So she got me, and I told her, like, I don't trust you. And I told her, like, because you said we was going to do that, we never did that. You said we were going to do that, we never did that. You said we was doing this, and then that just disappeared. You said when we performed for that particular producer that was going to get us on that tour, afterwards, you said the reason why he didn't give us that deal, and this was Nicki Minaj's manager at the time. This was back in the day before Nicki had blew up. This was when she was just on the My Chick Is Bad shit.
Yeah.
Right.
You said that the reason why the group didn't get that deal was because that guy said that one of the guys in the group was gay. But you used that to manipulate the guys because everybody already knew about my sexuality.
Right.
They all knew that.
Right.
But it was like a secret. It was a hush-hush. Nobody was talking about it. None of that.
Right.
But
y'all got into it.
You use that so the guys can get pissed off at me. Because now it looks like I blew the deal.
Right.
But that wasn't true because I learned that later on. That shit never happened. He never had a conversation with her about none of that.
If anything, she was fucking up y'all shit.
She won't mess it up. She was pocketed it pretty.
Man, I don't like. And the thing is, but I'll let it go. Anyway, so she got to me, and I was like, no, I don't.
How'd she take it?
Oh, she said she was hurt, and I can't believe that you would feel that way after I've done so much for you, and I believed in you, and I put you in this group, and you came to us, you had nothing, and I'm looking like, and you almost about right.
Right.
But
I still ain't got nothing.
Where's my money, man?
Right. I still ain't got nothing.
Fuck what you
I want you to know this. I just gotta cut you off to tell you this.
What?
If they'd have put either one of us in that group,
Man.
now remember young Ryan, he just audience me. Hey, a month in, hey yo, them $200 was cool, but I need a little bit more than $200.
Well, I'd have just been a
Look,
little
Ryan,
lower.
we need you to. Well, I'm gonna go and pack my stuff. I'm gonna put it in my car.
Y'all go right.
When you come up with a little bit more money,
y'all go ahead and do wop that shit.
That shit, man.
But yeah, so I told her, and from that moment, I definitely felt a shift with her and me.
Oh, for
I think
sure.
at that point she was like, "Yeah, something's up."
For sure.
You know. So anyway, we had a conversation at the bottom of the stairs, and then I was about to walk out the house, and they had this grand staircase type of thing in the house, and everybody was sitting on the stairs, just all lined up sitting on the stairs. I'm looking like, all right, y'all. Well, it's been nice. I appreciate the opportunity, and right. I'm like, I appreciate the opportunity. I hope y'all do well. Lucky, I'm expecting great things from you, and I left like that. And I drove out of there, but I was like nervous and shit driving from out of there. I was like, because I don't want nobody to come out and do nothing crazy. Let me get up out of here. Yeah. And I got out of there and never looked back.
That's love, bro. I know it ain't love.
Never looked back to the group. I was still in that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But that's love, man. You had an experience, even though it didn't end the way you wanted it to.
Right.
You got an experience most people will never have in 2 lifetimes.
You know, that's true. You're right,
bro.
Yeah.
So when you say you made it, that's just one way you made it.
That's one way. We're only 2 hours into this thing. It's only one. But the other stories have been a lot faster.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that was that.
So we're going to skip forward ahead on some of these questions because we're going to get this first segment out the way. So we know you have a movie playing in Kankakee.
Yeah. That
you wrote, directed, right? Mm-hmm. What is the name of the movie?
Good Enough, a modern musical.
Can you tell us a small amount about it?
Yeah. So Good Enough is about... it's a story about 2 college guys, and they meet on a dating app. One of the guys is closeted. He's not out being gay. He's a black guy.
Okay.
And they meet on a dating app, and unexpectedly they fall in love.
Okay.
And then they meet each other's families, and I think that's where a lot of the bigger drama,
the conflict comes.
That's where that real conflict happens. Whenever, for those that are going to see the film, you gotta see these things.
What's the movie rated?
I would say PG-13 is not officially rated, but from my experience and things, I definitely give it a PG-13 rating.
PG-13, so children can't, the older children can't go see it.
Right.
And when is it airing?
It will be playing at the Paramount on March 19th at 7 p.m.
Got it.
Yeah.
Where can the tickets be bought?
You can buy the tickets from Eventbrite. There's a link going around on Eventbrite, and I can send you guys a link if you
for sure. So we can make sure we're sharing it.
Yeah. And you can get tickets that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they can't be bought at the door?
They cannot be bought at the door. They have to be bought at that particular link.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Tickets cannot be bought at the door. You don't want to miss out. I believe you will be the first black male who wrote and produced his own movie being shown in Kankakee County.
That's what I heard.
I don't think that there's anyone else who's done it. So,
I made Black history, y'all.
That's major, bro.
I made Black history.
And where can you be found on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at It's Mike Spears. That's ITS Mike Spears. That's where you can find me.
Okay, cool. You got anything you want to
Hell no. I'm just
Mike gave us a
for sure. The whole story was going through my head. I'm thinking of the house, what it look like, people look like.
Right.
No, I'm just listening, bro. That's major, man.
Yeah,
especially coming from Hopkins, bro.
Yeah, right.
Man, like I know people say it, but they kind of don't.
Right.
We from there, bro.
We from there.
We see it. We done roll through there.
Facts.
So just to do all that, man, that's motherfucking major.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Sure.
I appreciate that so much. Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely been
Definitely
there.
go check out the movie too.
With that, we're gonna take a major break.
Man, shit. You
On
talking
this
about
show,
first segment? Shit.
It's a 3-part first segment.
Right.
Yeah.
On this show, Mike Spears, Broke Dusty, Hollywood. We be back.
Yeah.
New shoes.
You don't like them?
I'm just saying. Like, what,
Okay, because you look at it, you're like,
something?
oh, what shoe is what? I need to take a shower.
Okay, fine.
Cleaning.
Hurry!
Cleaning.
Hurry.
I am. Oh my god.
Oh, I know you need to spell that out.
I did it. It's right here.
I'm out.